You're running on adrenaline and heartbreak right now, the worst possible state to make big decisions in. This lesson isn't about deciding the future. It's about the handful of steady things that protect you today. Hello, I'm Faye from Family Recovery Mum. This is part 2, the trust after relapse. Welcome to lesson 2. In the first days after discovering a relapse, you're running on adrenaline and heartbreak, and it's the worst possible state to make big decisions in. So this lesson isn't about deciding the future. It's about the handful of steady things that protect you and your loved one while the dust is still in the air. Let's start with what not to do, because these come naturally and they cost you later. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Let's just move on. Skips the grief you actually need to feel. Don't trust again instantly because they said sorry. Apologies don't rebuild trust. Behavior over time does. Don't catastrophize till they'll be using forever. You don't know that yet. Don't take it on as your failure. And don't make permanent decisions from temporary raw emotion. You can set temporary boundaries while you process. That's different. Now, what to do? The very first thing before trust even enters the conversation is safety. Are they medically safe right now? Do they need detox? Are they in danger? Is the environment safe? Substances out of shared spaces, valuables and documents secured, children protected if that applies. And your safety. Get yourself to emotional safety. Call your people. Try not to be alone. Safety first, always. Everything else can wait a day. The second thing, and within the first few days, is to say the true thing out loud. This broke my trust. Don't let anyone rush you past it. Not them, not well-meaning relatives, not the relapse as part of recovery crowd. Relapse can be common and a betrayal of trust. Both are true at once. Something like this in your own words. Relapse happened. I'm devastated. My trust is broken, completely broken. I need time to process this before I can even think about rebuilding. I'm not making promises right now about staying or about trusting again. Right now I'm protecting myself. That isn't cruel. It's honest, and honesty is the only ground any future rebuilding can stand on. The third thing, trust goes back to phase 1. If you did core, you know the phases, and after relapse, everything returns to cautious hope, or even before it. The freedoms that were earned are paused. Verification comes back. This isn't punishment, and it helps enormously to say so plainly. This is the consequence of broken trust, not a punishment. We're rebuilding from the foundation. Fourth, get professional support around everyone, a treatment reassessment for them, and, just as importantly, individual support for you. Because what you're carrying is trauma, not stress, not a hard time. Trauma. It deserves trauma-informed care, not just a cup of tea and a brave face. And fifth, once the very rawest edge has dulled a little, still within that first week or so, there's a foundational conversation to have. You name what happened, you name that you're starting over, and then you ask the one question that matters more than any promise. What is going to be different this time? Not will you try harder, what will actually change? We'll spend all of lesson 3 on that question, because it's the hinge everything turns on. Underneath all of this sits a bigger question, and I want to take the pressure off it right now. Can I do this again? And the honest answer this week might be, I don't know. That is a completely valid answer. You do not have to decide today. Not everyone rebuilds after relapse. Some families reach their limit, and that is wise, not a failure. Some rebuild with much stricter rules. Some rebuild at 70% rather than 100%. There's no single right answer. There's only what's right for you and your well-being. If you take one thing from this lesson, this week is for safety, honesty, and protection, not for deciding the rest of your life. The boundaries you set now are not punishment. They are the walls that keep the foundation standing while you find your feet. In Lesson 3, we turn to that hinge question, what's actually different this time, and how to tell a real change from a hopeful promise. I'll see you there. Your workbook has a safety checklist and a draft space for saying the true thing out loud. Use it before you have that conversation. Lesson 3, the hinge question, is next.